Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today for our latest webinar, Discover Switzerland with Railbookers. My name's Sam. I'll be your host for today. So just before we jump into the Swiss holidays that we'll be talking to you about today, let's just have a little look at who Railbookers are. This just takes a couple of moments. If you have been on any of our webinars before, you'll have seen this little introduction, so do indulge me. But we'll start just by looking at why some of our travellers love to use rail because a couple of the main reasons, maximum flexibility you'll see there. So what we love to say is if the train goes there, so do we. So some of the holidays that we're going to be looking at today are really just ideas for you. You don't have to follow them to the absolute T. You can modify, you can change, you can add additional nights, you can upgrade hotels. You can add on tours. So if it isn't exactly what you're looking for, please do let us know. We can tailor it to your liking. And you can see in the middle there, we can book and travel from today all the way through to 2024. So if you're looking perhaps to get out for a holiday this spring, we can start to plan that for you now, and you can get away in the next, few weeks, few months. If you're looking for something next year or even into 2024, if you're looking to celebrate a special occasion and you're just in the planning stages of a trip, we can start to look at that for you as well. So it's never too early to start to plan your next rail holiday. We have a host of digital brochures on our website as well for you. You can see 6 there. We have our UK and Ireland independent holidays, Spanish holidays, cruise extensions, a luxury journeys brochure as well. One that includes all our Scottish trips, and of course our Railbookers worldwide rail brochure, which includes our most famous and sought after holidays. Also have 24-hour support from our global offices. And what this means is it doesn't matter where you are in the world at whatever time of day it might be, you will have support from our team. You should always be able to get through to somebody in one of our 5 offices across the globe. And finally, just to mention, of course, that we do have partnerships with all the rail suppliers across Europe and around the world. This allows us to make those special requests for you should you want top deck on a particular train, should you want to be on one side of a train, if you've heard there's a better view. If you traveling across America on Amtrak, we can get you those roomettes or bedrooms. The same with Via Rail, we can get you those suites on board the train should you wish to have ultimate luxury. So we do have direct rail partnerships as well, and that allows us to book those 2 years in advance. Quite often with rail travel, you can only book up to 6 months in advance, which can make it a bit difficult to plan further into the future, but we're able to book, as I say, up to 2 years in advance because of these special partnerships that we have with the rail suppliers across the world. Okay, so let's jump into our first holiday. That's why we're all here, of course. This is the classic Glacier and Bernina Express trip. This is a 4-night, 5-day holiday starting from £1,449 per person. In this particular trip, you get to travel on 2 of the world's most scenic train journeys through Switzerland, and you'll also get to travel to one of Europe's highest train stations as well on the way through to the Jungfrau Mountain, and spend time in 2 of Switzerland's most scenic alpine towns of Interlaken and Chur. So as I mentioned, now you are going to get to stay in Interlaken. Interlaken is a lovely town situated in between 2 lakes with an incredible mountain backdrop. A lovely place to spend a couple of days, and it's the base for your trip up to the top of the Jungfrau. And plenty of other excursions for you as well. You can see here there's a viewing platform at the top of what's known as the Harderkulm, which is a towering viewpoint accessible by funicular. And you can see across to the mountains of the Eiger and the Jungfrau. So you'll have a couple of days in Interlaken. One of those days will be spent taking the trip up to the top of the Jungfrau, but you'll have a day to explore some of the other sites of the town as well. You'll get to travel on the Glacier Express, one of the most famous and scenic train journeys, I suppose, not just in Switzerland, but in Europe and throughout the world. Fantastic panoramic tour of the Swiss Alps, starts in Brig and takes you all the way through to Chur. You'll travel in comfort on what's known affectionately as the world's slowest express train. It travels at just around 25 miles an hour, but it allows you to soak up those fantastic mountainside views. You'll travel through the unspoiled beauty of mountains, forests, alpine meadows, and lush valleys. And as you can see there, you'll cross viaducts, and you have those incredible panoramic windows to give you these magnificent views as you travel. There are a few ways that you can experience the tripping in Glacier on the Glacier Express. You have standard class, of course, and even in standard class, you can see you've got those big panoramic windows. You can travel in first class, which is a similar level of service to standard class, but you get a bit more legroom, as you can see, a few less people in the carriages. And there is also a third level of service, which is called excellence class. Now, traveling in excellence class is something a little bit special. You'll be pampered throughout the full length of the Glacier Express trip. You'll have a guaranteed window seat. You'll have a personal concierge, a luggage service. You can see very, very comfortable seating, onboard commentary for in-depth knowledge of the route. There'll also be a 5-course menu, including accompanying wines, and you have your own private bar there for all passengers that travel in excellence class. I think there's only around 16 seats. There is a private Glacier bar if you want a little aperitif as well. So really, this is, I would say, probably the most luxurious way to travel across Switzerland, excellence class on the Glacier Express. You'll get to spend a bit of time in Chur. This is where the Glacier Express finishes and the Bernina Express begins. Chur, known as the oldest town in Switzerland, very charming and very quaint. And as I say, it's where the Bernina Express departs from. So the Bernina Express will depart from Chur and it will travel all the way through to Tirana, across the border into Italy. Again, like the Glacier Express, it's a fully panoramic service, so you get those spectacular views. It crosses through the Alps, over spectacular viaducts, rock gorges. You'll travel alongside mountain streams. You'll see, again, glaciers. Probably most famous for the Land Wasser Viaduct, which is a fantastic feat of engineering. And the whole Bernina Express line itself is actually protected by UNESCO. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which just goes to show how extraordinary this particular rail journey is. And here's a couple of guests enjoying the Bernina Express, looking to have a glass of wine as they relax on the journey. Okay, next trip we're going to look at today is our Scenic Switzerland. This encompasses a little bit more. It's a 9-day holiday, 8-night trip starting from £1,849 per person. So again, it includes the Bernina Express, it includes the Glacier Express, it includes that excursion up to the top of the Jungfrau, but it also includes the Golden Pass as well, through to Lucerne, and an excursion and day trip to Mount Pilatus as well. And also, I should mention, the trip to the Gornergrat on the Cog Railway there, just gives you views of the Matterhorn, and that's an excursion out of Zermatt. So speaking of the Gornergrat, it's a cog railway that climbs to around 3,000 meters above sea level in just over half an hour. It really is a marvel of engineering. From the top, you can take in one of the most spectacular panoramas in all of Switzerland, with an iconic outline of the Matterhorn, as well as surrounding peaks and glaciers all around you. You'll also get to take a stroll through the nature reserve, maybe enjoy some fondue at the top and see some wildlife. So it really is a fantastic day trip out from Zermatt on the Cog Railway up to the Gornergrat. And you'll get to spend some time in the lakeside town of Montreux as well, perhaps stroll along the lake. There's a picturesque castle, Chillon Castle there as well. Also a historic casino, if you like a bit of a flutter, and very famous for a jazz cafe as well. So you can enjoy a drink in the jazz cafe of Montreux. So we do have an evening to spend in Montreux by the lake. And from Montreux, you'll take the full length of the Golden Pass line all the way through to Lucerne. So another of Switzerland's famous rail journeys, along with the Glacier, Bernina, the Golden Pass, probably the third most famous and the scenic route in all of Switzerland. Gives you amazing views of Lake Geneva and the Swiss Riviera. Rather than going over the mountains or through the mountains, it kind of cuts through the valleys and gorges and gives you amazing views of the Swiss countryside. From Lucerne, you'll get to take an excursion to the top of Mount Pilatus on the Mount Pilatus Railway. It's the steepest cogwheel railway in the world, actually. But before you take the cogwheel railway, there will be a steam cruise on Lake Lucerne, and which is a 30-minute ride, and then you'll take the cogwheel railway up to the top of Mount Pilatus. At the top, there's the historic Pilatus Calm Hotel and restaurant where you can enjoy lunch and refreshments, and experience those fantastic views. Numerous walking trails as well. You can spend as much time as you like at the top to explore and enjoy the scenery. And then after soaking up those fantastic views, you make your way back down the mountain via this jaw-dropping gondola and cable car that you can see here. So do make sure if you're going to be taking this excursion that you have a head for heights. Okay, so the third holiday we'll look at today is our Peaks of Switzerland from Wengen. This is a 7-night, 8-day trip starting from £1,499 per person. On this particular trip, again, you'll get to experience some of the most stunning peaks of Switzerland firsthand, especially start in Basel and then take the train out to the picture postcard mountain village of Wengen for 5 nights. Just a pure relaxation, I suppose, and a bit of adventure. It really is an idyllic alpine setting. You'll have a Swiss pass here, which will allow you to travel and explore the area at your leisure for the 5 days. But we do include excursions to the Schilthorn and again to the Jungfrau yacht. So you get 2-day trips included on this particular holiday, and then 3 days to explore the surrounding area at your leisure. And Wengen really is the perfect place to head out and explore. It's a picture-perfect resort town right at the foot of the Jungfrau. It boasts stunning mountain views, and as I say, acts as the perfect place to explore the area. It's a really family-friendly mountain village. It's car-free. Seems to be guaranteed hours and hours of sunshine as well. Doesn't seem to matter what time of year it is. It's perfect for long walks and hiking, and famous for traditional Swiss food as well. It's a fantastic base for your 5 days. As I say, there are a couple of excursions that we include along the way, one being the Jungfrau Yacht Railway. Really a highlight of any trip to Switzerland is a visit to the world-famous Jungfrau Mountain. Appropriately known as the top of Europe, it is Europe's highest railway station at just below 3,500 meters. On the way up, you'll get to see glaciers, waterfalls, lots of wildlife, I hope. You'll traverse the Eiger and Munch mountains. From the top, there's incredible views, fun attractions, choice of restaurants. There's an ice palace at the top as well. Again, much like Pilatus and the Gorda, but you can spend as much time as you like at the top of the mountain to explore the views and just soak it all up for as much time as you please. And then it's back down to Wengen. And you also have a trip on the Schilthorn. So you'll travel by train and cable car for a breathtaking journey, as you can see there, up to the top of the Schilthorn. As with all these excursions, impressive mountain and valley views the entire way up. And from the top, you'll actually have panoramic views across to the peaks of the Eiger, the Munch, and the Jungfrau. So you'll get to experience that spectacular Swiss skyline from the top of the Schilthorn. Okay, moving on, we're going to take a look at our Gems of Switzerland trip. This is a 10-night, 11-day holiday, starting from £2,199 per person. It's an adventure that really encapsulates, I think, the very best that Switzerland has to offer. You'll travel through the mountainous heart of the Bernese Oberland. Again, you'll get to experience Montreux. You'll also see the beautiful shores into Italy of Lake Lugano as well. Two of those most popular mountaintop excursions that we've already spoken about, traveling to the Jungfraujoch and the Gorner Grat. And you'll also have four of the, shall we say, greatest rail and boat journeys Europe has to offer. So not only will you experience the Glacier Express, the Bernina Express, the Golden Pass, you'll also get to travel on the Gotthard Express train and scenic boat journey across to Lucerne, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But we do also include Zurich on this particular trip. Zurich, kind of a unique mix of its old town and modern life. Does have fantastic views itself of the Swiss Alps. According to recent studies, I believe Zurich has the highest standard of living in the world, so it's a really nice place to spend a couple of days. Charming, compact city on the northern shores of Lake Zurich. Fantastic location for some beautiful photos on a really nice day. You can see right across the lake to the Swiss Alps. So it's known for kind of its finance and its banking, Zurich, but actually it's a huge amount more than that, and it's a great place to spend a couple of days before heading off on your rail excursions throughout Switzerland. On this particular trip as well, instead of basing you in Interlaken for your trip up the Jungfrau, we actually base you in Grindelwald. It's a beautiful Swiss village that's in the shadow of the Eiger mountain there, so it's a little bit more quaint, a little more peaceful than Interlaken. Probably don't need as much time in Grindelwald as you would Interlaken, but it's only about a 10-15 minute rail journey to Interlaken from Grindelwald. So if you wanted to explore Interlaken as well, you do have the freedom of a Swiss pass again, which means you can explore the surrounding area as you please. We do base you in Grindelwald for one night before taking you the excursion on Jungfrau. And as I mentioned earlier, you will get to experience a bit of Italian culture on Lake Lugano. So you can enjoy a cruise on the lake on this particular holiday. In the afternoon sunshine, you'll get to see little quaint towns that sit along the bank. You can take in the serene views. See how fantastic the scenery is there from the picture that we've got. Rest of the time on the lake is to do as you please. Some fantastic lakeside restaurants, as you can imagine. There's a lovely promenade as well that you can walk along in the evening. So a nice area and a bit of different culture outside of Switzerland. So you get to experience a bit of Italian culture there as well. And as I mentioned, you will get to experience the Gotthard Panorama Express, another wonderful scenic panoramic train ride. Takes you through the historic Gotthard Pass to a little town called Fluellen, and then you'll take a fantastic paddle steamer cruise all the way through to Lucerne, and this is all in first class as well. You can have an unparalleled views of Swiss mountain peaks. It's another fantastic world-class railway construction that the Swiss have put together. Of course, they're famous for their trains, and nobody does rail travel better than the Swiss. So as I mentioned, you get to spend some time on the Panorama Express and the paddle steamer. And here's a picture of a couple enjoying lunch and perhaps a mojito on board as they travel across the lake to Lucerne. Okay, and finally, we're going to take a look at our best of Switzerland holiday. This is a 9-night, 10-day trip, another variation on one of our Swiss holidays, and it does cover a lot of what we've seen before, but it does have the inclusion of Mount Titlis, which we haven't looked at. And it starts in Lucerne. Lucerne is spectacular and historic lakeside town. Again, incredible mountain views all around. And as you can imagine, some fantastic restaurants that you can dine in on the lakeside of an evening. So a really nice way to start the trip. And one of the big points of difference for this particular holiday, as I say, is the trip to Mount Titlis. Breathtaking ride high up into the Alpine glaciers. You travel up in a revolving cable car, spectacular views of the glaciers, as you you can see there. There's a panorama restaurant at the top as well. There's also an ice grotto, and there's what's known as the Ice Flyer chairlift as well, which allows you to get really up close to the spectacular glaciers. Again, you're at around 3,000 meters above sea level. But also, for any adventure seekers out there, there's what's known as snow tube, which is a snow slide that takes you through the snow and down the mountainside as well. So there's something for adrenaline lovers at the top if you're that way inclined. And just finally, we will take a little look at St. Moritz. St. Moritz features on almost all of our Swiss holidays. It's the terminus of the Glacier Express, and also you'll travel through St. Moritz on the Bernina Express as well, the birthplace of alpine tourism, known of course for its high quality of life, its high-end restaurants, spectacular views. And as I say, it does feature on almost all of the holidays that we've spoken about today, so it would be remiss of me not to mention it before we finish up. Okay, and that concludes the webinar for today. So there's our 5 Swiss trips. Hopefully there's been a little bit of inspiration for you here today. Hopefully you've seen something that you like. If you haven't seen a holiday that completely captures your imagination, then as I say, anything can be tailor-made, and we've got hundreds, if not perhaps thousands of different holiday variations on our website, railbookers.co.uk. If you do wish to discuss any of the trips that you've seen today, don't hesitate to give us a call. We are open Monday to Friday from 9 to 5:30. But I do thank you for your time today. I hope you've enjoyed the webinar. I hope that we can provide you perhaps with that next holiday away this year. And if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Thanks ever so much, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.